My colleague Dharamjot Kaur is, of course, joining us from the newsroom with more details. Dharamjot, over to you. Tell us more in terms of what is happening at this moment with respect to the rescue efforts that are currently underway near the site of the crash.
Well, Saleh, it does look like a grim sight, to be honest. The way the plane came crashing down within the minutes after takeoff. We saw a lot of teams coming on board within a matter of minutes. The NDRF personnel came on board. The Indian Army then eventually came on board. So a lot of it's an all hands on deck situation right now. As my colleague Disha also rightly pointed out, 70 to 80% of the debris has been cleared out. But there are two different scenarios that we're looking at here, Saleh. Number one is of the passengers on board the flight. 242 in all, including the pilots and crew members. How many of them have suffered casualties? Is there a death toll that we're talking about? There is no official information on the count so far, but there is fear that there are going to be serious casualties in this case. As we can see from the visuals, they appear to be very, very grim. So that's the first situation. Number two, the area where the plane crashed, Saleh, it crashed into a doctor's residence, a hostel where doctors were staying. We heard some locals on the ground from the area talking about how some flats of the doctors have been damaged. The canteen, the mess where the doctors eat, that has been severely damaged. So it needs to be ascertained if, again, there is a death toll that we're looking at even on that front. Now, as Disha pointed out, the area has been cleared out with respect to people who were there around. But still, a lot of information is still coming in. There is fear that a lot of people have been injured grievously in this. The leave for the medical staff has been cancelled at Ahmedabad Civil Hospital, Saleh. So that is what we know so far with respect to the medical team that's dealing with the situation on the ground, Saleh.
Absolutely, indeed. Dharamjot Kaur, do continue to stay on to this. So these are these tragic images that will not be forgotten in a long, long time to come. This will go down as the worst aviation disaster in India's history. We do not know as to what the death toll is. But bear in mind, there were 242 people on board this flight. Has anyone survived? We don't know that information. According to reports, the former Chief Minister of Gujarat, Rupani, was also on board this flight. We need to see as to who has managed to survive. And this plane did not crash in an open area. It has crashed in a residential area. This is the place where it has crashed, on top of a doctor's hostel. We do not know how many people were inside the hostel at the time that this plane came crashing down on top of that hostel. Are there casualties amongst people who were inside the hostel at the time? The last time you can go back to where an aviation tragedy of this scale happened was way back to the 22nd of May in 2010, when the Dubai-Mangaluru flight, when it was coming down to land in Mangaluru, had crashed in the state of Karnataka, in the city of Mangaluru, where 158 people who were on board died in that one incident. This could be even bigger than that. 242 people. There were a number of British nationals as well who were on board the flight at the time. And this is said to be one of the safest planes that Boeing manufactures. This is what Boeing calls the Dreamliner. And it is a wide-bodied airline which Boeing claims has an immaculate flying record. And more than 1,000 of this variety of planes are said to be in use by different airlines around the world. And if you were to go by Boeing, this is a plane that has transported more than 1 billion passengers in the span of the last 16, 17 years that it has been in service. This long-haul aircraft has a range of about 13,530 kilometers. It is widely used by airlines, predominantly for intercontinental flights. This is not a domestic flight that we're talking about. This is a plane, a long-haul flight, which is predominantly used by airlines for intercontinental flights. And it has a seating capacity of 248 passengers. And at this moment, this is what the scene is like in Ahmedabad, a massive cloud of black smoke coming out from the place where the plane, of course, crashed. These are images from some time back. The plane is said to have crashed roughly at about 1:38 p.m. local time, and we do not know as to what resulted in the plane to crash down in this manner. But remember, this is an extremely hard moment, especially for the family members of whose kin were on board this flight. It also raises a number of questions about the safety of flying, especially at a time when safety is considered the safest mode of transportation. But tell that to the passengers who have to board their next flight to fly abroad, because looking at these scenes, it is difficult to imagine as to what would, of course, go through the minds of the people who, of course, have to board their next flights. But at this moment, a lot more information needs to come. What happened? Was there an engine failure? Was there a bird hit which resulted in the plane not picking up enough speed, which resulted in the plane not gaining enough altitude, which resulted in the plane coming crashing down? We don't know. There was a mayday call that was given by the pilots, and after that there was silence, and what everyone witnessed was a huge crash as the plane came crashing down atop a doctor's hostel. These are the tragic scenes that we're looking at from Ahmedabad, where bodies are being pulled out from the rubble, and this is the debris of the plane that has crashed. We'll slip into a short break. More updates will continue on the other side. Stay tuned to WION.